our 8th Egyptian piece. It's Tutankhamun's tomb, innermost coffin. It is in the form of gold, lots and lots of gold, 252 pounds of gold. We see here in form the arms of the king are crossed, and he's holding the crook and the flail. He has a smooth face. The gold is embedded with the blue stone lapis lazuli, and he has a Nemes headdress on, and on the top of the headdress there is the bird, a falcon, and a cobra. The function of this piece is that it is intended to help preserve the mummy that has been embalmed into the next life. You can see here the archaeologist and assistant who are uncovering the bitumen. That black stuff is what holds asphalt together. In terms of content, this innermost coffin of Tutankhamun shows he is holding a crook, which is what you use to shepherd animals, and he is holding the flail in his other hand, and that is what we use to harvest crops and seeds from crops. And so this represents the fertility of the land of Egypt. And then the cobra and the vulture here, those are protective measures that pharaohs wear on their headdress. Context, this is British archaeologist Howard Carter, who after 6 years of being funded by Lord, I forget the name of the British lord who funded him. After 6 years, it was a young boy who was walking through the sand who poked a stick through the sand and hit a stair, and that stair led them to the tomb of Tutankhamun. It took 10 years to catalog all the goods they found once they got into the tomb. Amazingly, this tomb hadn't been robbed, but Tutankhamun, we know, is one of the less important kings, pharaohs of Egypt. He was a minor player. Context. Inside the tomb, they found the sarcophagus room. You can see the sarcophagus, and inside the sarcophagus were actually 3 of these coffins nested inside one another. This is the outermost coffin made of wood. Then this is the middle coffin. It is inlaid with gold, and then our piece is the innermost coffin that sat next to Tutankhamun's face. So that face, this is King Tut. He was 9 when he became a pharaoh. He was 18 when he died, 18 or 19. He ruled for a decade, so that should probably say age 19. He had physical difficulties, and this is because of his parents were brother and sister. So remember our last image of King Akhenaten and Nefertiti and 3 daughters? Well, King Akhenaten also, in addition to marrying Nefertiti, his main wife, he had a subsidiary wife, and that was his half-sister. And Akhenaten and his half-sister gave birth to King Tut here. But he had a physical difficulty throughout life, and that was this inbreeding caused his bones to deteriorate. He had a club foot, so he walked with a cane. I think there were over 100 canes in his tomb. He had 2 different strands of malaria in his body. And we know all this because I think it was 2007, there were studies allowed using DNA, and they did a ton of medical research on King Tut's DNA and figured all of this out. So he did not die of some elaborate, some said he died in war, died chasing hippopotami or ostriches, but the reality is we think he broke his leg, and then that, in addition to all the ailments he was suffering from, caused his death. So as I mentioned, he was the son of Akhenaten, and Akhenaten named uh, Tutankhamun Tutankhamun, and King Tut changed his name from God, I'm getting confused with all these names. He changed his name from the one that his dad gave him, Tutankhaten, to Tutankhamun, and that's what we know him for. And he did not keep the same art form that his father, the Amarna art form, he did not keep that. So you can see in his, let's go back, is he more like King Minkar, or is he more like his father? All right. Piece 23, Tutankhamun's tomb and innermost coffin.